A MONUSCO helicopter with 8 peacekeepers on board was shot down in the middle of a mission to assess population movements in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. The incident on Tuesday comes as clashes between the M23 rebels and the Congolese army continues after attacks on Sunday that left soldiers wounded. We've spoken with the governor and we have a military base in Bunagana. When we received the first wounded from the Congolese army, we welcomed them to this base and gave them the first necessary care. The new clashes between the Congolese army and M23 rebels have caused massive new displacements of the population. We've fled because of this war, because we are afraid and we are suffering. What is happening is that we are the victims. We want the government to help us and see how to chase away these rebels who are attacking us and let them go back to where they've come from. The latest incident came at a time of renewed partnership between the DRC and Rwanda, which was accused by UN investigators of supporting M23. Several trade agreements and a military cooperation to oust the rebels were signed recently between the two countries.
Unemployment in South Africa has reached a historical peak, according to the country's agency of statistics. During the fourth quarter of 2021, it came in at 35.3% of the labour force. The most industrialised nation of the continent counts now 7.9 million jobless people for a population of nearly 60 million. The youth is particularly affected, with around 66% of citizens between 15 and 24 years old concerned. South Africa is still facing economic challenges amid the global COVID-19 pandemic. Last week, President Cyril Ramaphosa lifted some restrictions, such as the obligation of a PCR test for vaccinated people entering the country, in a move to boost tourism. South Africa is the worst affected country in Africa in terms of confirmed infections and deaths. So far, it has recorded 3.7 million COVID cases and almost 100,000 deaths. South Africa is the worst affected country. South Africa is the worst affected country on the continent in terms of confirmed infections. South Africa is the worst affected country on the continent in terms of confirmed infections and deaths. So far, it has recorded over 3.7 million COVID cases. So far, it has recorded over 3.7 million COVID cases and 100,000 and nearly 100,000 deaths.
Tunisian President Saied has condemned attempts at holding what he described as illegal meetings of parliament, suspended since last July. The Assembly Speaker, Rached Ghannouchi, head of the Islamist-inspired Ennahda party, has called for a plenary session on Wednesday to discuss Saied's exceptional measures imposed since July. What happened today? The so-called virtual meeting is illegal because the Assembly and its bureau are frozen. The state will only recover through an independent judiciary, opposed by those who try to undermine the state and those who desperately try to stage a coup. The decision to hold a plenary session was taken by the Bureau of the Assembly of People's Representatives, a body that includes the Speaker of Parliament and representatives of all parties with seats.